When we hear the name Mansa Musa, one image usually comes to mind: gold, mountains of it. Historians estimate his net worth would sit somewhere around $400 billion today, richer than Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates combined. But focusing only on the gold is a mistake. It misses the true genius of the man. Yes, he was the richest person in history, but his real power wasn't in his bank account, it was in his vision. Mansa Musa didn't just spend money, he weaponized wealth to build a civilization. He transformed West Africa into an intellectual and architectural superpower that the rest of the world couldn't ignore. In the next 8 minutes, we're going to look beyond the bling. We're going to explore how Musa engineered the Mali Empire, how he accidentally broke the global economy, and how his investment in knowledge created a legacy that outlasted his gold. To understand Musa, we first have to understand the machine he inherited. Mansa Musa became the ruler of the Mali Empire in 1312 CE. The story of his ascension is actually quite mysterious. He took the throne after his predecessor, Abu Bakr II, sailed into the Atlantic Ocean with a massive fleet to discover what lay beyond the horizon and never returned. Musa inherited a kingdom that was already wealthy, but he turned it into an economic engine. Geographically, Mali was perfectly positioned. It sat right in the middle of the trans-Saharan trade routes. To the south, they had gold mines, fields so rich they provided half of the Old World's gold supply. To the north, they had salt mines, a commodity that was, at the time, worth its weight in gold because it was essential for preserving food. Musa didn't just watch this trade happen, he standardized it. He secured the routes, taxed the merchants, and guaranteed safety. This allowed Mali to dominate regional trade. If you wanted to move goods from the Mediterranean to the forest regions of West Africa, you had to play by Musa's rules. This was the foundation of his power: absolute control over the movement of value. But for the first decade of his rule, the world outside of West Africa had barely heard of him. That changed in 1324. Mansa Musa, a devout Muslim, decided to fulfill the fifth pillar of Islam, the Hajj, or pilgrimage to Mecca. Most kings would take a small entourage. Musa took a city. Historical accounts describe a convoy of tens of thousands of people, soldiers, heralds, entertainment, and servants crossing the Sahara Desert. It was a moving spectacle. He brought 80 to 100 camels, each carrying up to 300 pounds of pure gold dust. He didn't just travel, he distributed wealth. In every town and village he passed, he gave away gold to the poor, built mosques, and showered local officials with gifts. This wasn't just religious devotion, this was geopolitical theater. It was a calculated display of soft power. By the time his caravan arrived in Cairo, Egypt, rumors of the Golden King from the south had already spread across the known world. He was putting Mali on the map, literally. Before this trip, European mapmakers often ignored sub-Saharan Africa. After this trip, they drew Mali with a king holding a golden nugget. However, there was a downside to this limitless generosity. When Musa arrived in Cairo, Egypt, he spent and gave away so much gold that he single-handedly crashed the economy. It's a basic lesson in economics. When there's too much of a currency, its value drops. Musa flooded the market with gold. The value of gold in Egypt plummeted by nearly 20% and didn't recover for over a decade. Think about that for a second. One man, on a road trip, destabilized the economy of one of the Middle East's most powerful states, by accident. Some historians argue this gave Mali a strategic advantage. By devaluing gold in Egypt, the value of goods and services might have shifted in Mali's favor. Whether intentional or not, the world learned a lesson. The Mali Empire was a superpower, capable of influencing global markets. But the most important thing Musa brought back from Mecca wasn't souvenirs, it was talent. This is where the story shifts from wealth to wisdom. On his return journey, Mansa Musa recruited the best and brightest minds from the Islamic world. He convinced architects, poets, astronomers, and theologians to return with him to Mali. Among them was the famous Andalusian architect Abu Ishaq es-Saheli. Musa paid him 200 kilograms of gold to revolutionize the empire's architecture. Together, they built the Jingo Rebber Mosque in Timbuktu, a masterpiece of mud brick architecture that still stands today. But the physical buildings were just the shell. The real investment was in what happened inside them. Musa poured resources into Timbuktu, transforming it from a trading post into a global center of learning. He patronized the University of Sankore, which eventually housed 25,000 students and a library of hundreds of thousands of manuscripts. While he was building universities, he didn't neglect the sword. He was a strategic general. During his reign, his generals conquered the city of Gao, a crucial trading hub and the capital of the Songhai people. This was a masterstroke. By controlling both Timbuktu and Gao, Musa effectively locked down the entire Middle Niger River. He now controlled the transport, the taxation, and the markets. But Musa preferred the pen to the sword whenever possible. He established formal diplomatic relations with the Sultan of Morocco and the rulers of Egypt. Mali was no longer an isolated kingdom at the edge of the world. It was a recognized member of the global community of nations. He sent ambassadors abroad and welcomed foreign traders, creating a cosmopolitan empire where different cultures and ideas mixed freely. Mansa Musa died around 1337 CE. He left behind an empire that was wealthy, stable, and respected. But his legacy challenges the way we view history. For centuries, colonial narratives tried to paint Africa as a continent without history or civilization. Mansa Musa's story destroys that myth. He showed that centuries before the Industrial Revolution, West Africa was a hub of global economics and high-level academia. He is remembered as the richest man in history, but his true wealth wasn't the gold he spent, it was the civilization he built. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Mali Empire, please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm show this history to more people. And tell me in the comments, if you had Mansa Musa's wealth, would you build a palace or a university? Don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from African history. See you in the next video.